what's up? Welcome back to my channel, or if you're new here, hello, welcome in general. Today we are doing a Rad Talks video with my friend Raya.
Finally!
I know, we've been talking about filming together for so long, and I'm so excited that you are here in LA, in my apartment, filming a video with me. And so Raya's channel is RayaWasHere, and she does primarily travel vlogs, but also does lifestyle content.
We were just at this awesome event over the weekend where we had like a female travel just panel thing, and there were so many great questions, and I was like, we need to make a video on this because there's a lot of girls who have a lot of questions and we have your answers, so.
So we asked you guys to send in some questions on Twitter and on Instagram, and you guys sent in some really good stuff. So without any further ado, let's just pop in. Hey Carrie, hope you're well. My question for you and Raya is, what is the longest time you guys have been long distance for? Was it for a few weeks, months, or a year? Also, would you guys have a time limit on the distance before you just moved to your boyfriend's location?
We're both in relationships with, obviously you guys know Carrie's boyfriend is also a travel YouTuber, my boyfriend's also a travel YouTuber, I'm a travel, like, we all travel all the time, and
Louis
we do
and
long
Alex,
distance
travel
all the time.
bloggers.
Yeah. So we both have a lot of experience with long distance. The longest I've done, he did a 3-month trip where I did see him a little bit here and there, but only for like a couple days. So that was definitely the longest stint, and it was really hard.
What was the longest time frame, like, in between?
At the beginning of our relationship, we was like a month and a half almost. So we would like see each other and then have like a month and a half, then a month together, and then a month, like, so. Yeah.
And even when you see them for one night, it doesn't feel like you're even seeing them, you know? Because you're like, hi, bye. That happened with me too when Alex did the Peru and India trip. It was like we saw each other just for a couple days and then he left again. Alex and I have been apart the longest, I'd say 3 weeks going on a month. It was about 3 weeks, and I know for a lot of people, long distance can be so much harder. Like, people go months and months, and I've never even had to experience that much, that long of time. How long is the amount, like, how long is too long until you're just sort of like, what are we doing?
My thing with long distance is there needs to be an end goal. Like, if you know, like, oh, for the next year we're not going to see each other, but then I'm moving to this city or whatever, then you have something to look forward to. But if you're like, we're not going to see each other for 2 years and who knows when we'll ever see each other, then I just find that's too hard. Yeah.
And I actually remember you saying that when I first started dating Alex. You were like, so what's your goal when you're going to see him again? And I remember you asking me that, and you're like, that's how, because you have been with Louis for 2 years now.
2.5, yeah.
2.5. And Alex and I have been together for about 1.5 years. So Raya had a year of experience before I came into the picture, and so I remember you being like, well, if you have a date that
it's so important.
Get to think about, which is so true.
Yeah.
Because then you're sort of just like, when do I get to see you again? And then that person doesn't know, and you don't know, and you're just like, well, I hope things work out.
Different for everyone how long is too long, but it's basically like whatever feels right for you, and do you really see this going somewhere? Like, is there kind of a point to you guys? Because it's a struggle, so is there going to be a reward at the end of this really tough time that you're going to have?
Yeah. Very true. But distance does make the heart grow fonder. So I will say that it is so fun waiting and anticipating to see him, and then spending all the time we can together, because when we do finally get to see each other, we're both like, no phones, nothing. Let's just enjoy this time and like soak it in. And so we really value the time that we have together.
For sure.
Yeah. Because we're on the topic of boyfriends and travel and long distance and whatnot, I thought this one would be a good one to go into. My question is, how do you find the balance of giving your boyfriend space when he's in town? My boyfriend is out of town a lot, and it's hard for me to let him have his own life when he is in town since he's gone so much. This is a really good one.
Yeah, and we were literally just talking about this.
Completely. Because Alex travels a lot, and he also travels with his brother, so he's constantly with somebody traveling, and so when he's home, he wants to spend his time with me, but then that also makes it so he doesn't have a lot of time on his own. It's kind of the same thing as when you're single and you kind of look back and you remember what it was like being single and how you had all of this time to yourself. It's sort of just learning how to balance your relationship and your independence.
Also, I think it's about really valuing that time, because the time that I had single was so incredible for me to grow as a person, and you'll always need that time for the rest of your life, no matter if you're with someone or not. So like, maybe it's about because you're asking how to give your boyfriend space, maybe it's about valuing your own like private time as well, because then if he was like, I need to go on a motorcycle ride or whatever Alex would say, and you could be like, cool, I'm gonna go read my favorite book because I really want that time for myself as well.
Yep.
So.
And you just have to remember that you fell in love with each other for who you were as individuals, and so keeping that individuality is crucial to the relationship.
I said private time, which sounds really weird.
Private time.
How do you deal with traveling with friends who have different travel/spending styles than you, like hotel versus hostel, eating out versus grocery shopping, etc.?
Ooh, good one.
Well, honestly, my first thing would be, if you can travel with someone who's on your level, like, it's so much easier. But if you can't, then it's about being super open and honest from the beginning. Like, before you go on the trip, being like, this is my budget. I can't afford to stay in this place. Like, can we compromise? I know you want to stay in a fancy place, but it's like from the beginning, just being super honest. Because if you're not talking about it and then you get there and you're like, oh, we're going to this restaurant, I can't afford it, then you'll just hate the whole thing. Yeah,
you'll just have anxiety the entire trip. And I think that if that is your real friend and you're really traveling with good people, people are going to completely understand where you're coming from and might even like chip in for you and stuff like that. And I think that, I mean, I've experienced that on trips where like everybody kind of helps each other out. If somebody can't do some certain activity or they don't have money for food or whatnot. And I mean, that's a cool thing that you can do for a friend if you're in a different place and you can help them. But yeah, I think in general, again, having the conversation first and just putting it all out there, like, I want to come, but this, and this. And it's like, oh, okay, well then, cool. Then don't come or come and we'll figure it out.
Are there any places you've been to that you feel like you need to revisit? Maybe you didn't have enough time there or just loved it that much?
For me, Italy for sure. I went to Cinque Terre for a very small amount of time when I was shooting Royal Crush. We just got to like walk up a hill and stand there and like we shot a little bit of B-roll and then they're like, okay, we're done. And I'm like, we just got here. So Italy just in general. I want to go to Napoli. I want to see where my family comes from. My grandparents met there in Napoli and like for a little town, I can't remember the name of it, but I just want to go explore Italy more for sure.
I think Italy is one of my favorite countries by far. It's everywhere you go is so magical. So it's honestly, I would say pretty much everywhere that I've been. That's the hard thing, because once you've been to a country, you're like, cool, I've done Thailand. When you're like, wait, there's so much more. Not only like do I want to go back to the places I visited, but there's so much more to see. So there's barely anywhere that I wouldn't go back to be honest.
It is true. I feel like wherever you travel, you leave a little piece of yourself there, or like it just really leaves a mark on you. And that's why I think travel is so important for everybody in the world, because you just learn so much, and you really like put yourself together when you're traveling. You're just like forming yourself.
The reason that I make travel content is because I want people to grow. Like, everyone will become a better person from traveling in so many ways, and I want to inspire people to do that.
It's so true.
And there's a fly trying to...
Don't!
He just wants to be in the cloud.
Right? Carrie and fly. Let me try to open this door and see if the fly out. See how? Did he go?
Hello?
Hello? Fly? Are you gone?
How do you get off the beaten tourist track, or would you rather embrace being a tourist and enjoy the typical landmarks? That's a good question. If you really want to get off the beaten track, the best way to do that is to ask locals, like someone who's working at your hostel maybe, or just, you go up to someone in a restaurant and you're like, where's your favorite place to eat, or whatever it is. That's the best way to do it. But also, it's almost a little too overrated for me, because like, tourist places are tourist places for a reason. For example, the Colosseum is what made Rome for me. And if I was like, oh, there's too many people, I would have missed like such an incredible place. So yes, it's amazing to go off the beaten track and highly recommend it. But also, if you really want to see something that's too touristy, go see it. Like, you don't want to miss out on something.
I completely agree with you. I feel like so many people are like, ooh, that's too touristy, I'm not going to go there. And it's like, well, that's why everybody's going there, and that's why it's famous. So obviously go see it, and balance it out. Bufferfest, they asked me a question. They were like, would you rather be a traveler or a tour guide? And I totally understand why someone would say a tour guide, because I think it's really cool, like especially somebody who does primarily travel vlogging content as well. Like, they are a tour guide pretty much.
Yeah.
I always want to be a traveler though. because I want to take everything in, and I want to learn, and I want to go to places I've never been before.
Yeah.
So for me, traveler would be my answer to that, because it's just sort of like, does that even have anything to do with what we were talking about?
Kind of.
I just added another question in there.
No, but also, yeah, if you want to see the tourist places or like really don't want to go when it's super crowded, go early in the morning or go when it's off season. Definitely I wouldn't go to Europe in August, for example. There's just times when it is overcrowded with tourists, so just plan around it.
Off season, such a good.
And so much cheaper too.
Yeah.
What are some moments while traveling when you felt the most alive?
We traveled together in Montana, and that trip was so much fun.
And we'd only met for like a day, and then I got your number and I was like, I'm gonna travel with this girl, she's so cool.
Yeah.
And then this trip came like, you're coming to Montana.
I was like, okay.
It
was so much fun, and there was a lot of moments there where we just felt so alive, because we were so free. We were in Louie's Wander Wagon. So that's what he ended up calling it.
No,
right?
that was the first one that died on us. We were in a van and it literally like caught on fire. Well, that was another time, but it's that one too. Yeah. And then we bought a VW camper van. Yeah. Literally, we were in Montana, like on Craigslist, went and bought one, and then we just drove around Montana, like drove up mountains when we definitely shouldn't have, and it was so fun.
It was so much fun.
Those moments always come in nature when you're just so overwhelmed with like the beauty and just vastness and magic of the world. And there's a few, even like being in the redwood forest and looking up, that kind of moment. Or in Puerto Rico, I went to the most bioluminescent bay in the world, where that's like where you touch the water and it lights up. And those moments where you're like, this is our planet, how is this happening? Yeah, those are my moments.
I love those moments so much. I'd say for me, if I had to pick one, it would be in Thailand when I was 18, because it was my first trip as an adult, solo. I had a backpack on my back, just didn't have any plans when I went there. I didn't have anything ready to go, like lined up hotel-wise. And one night was kind of scary, actually, in Malaysia, because I didn't have a hotel and I couldn't find one for some reason. It wasn't as planned out as I would do now, because I've grown up since then and I like plans a little bit more now.
There's such a beauty to that for the time in that part in your life.
100%. So that's where I got my tattoo. It was just like that moment where I was just like, I'm free.
Underpack or overpack?
Ooh, I like to pack just right. Let me explain. I am not much of a planner, but I do like to plan out outfits before I go and travel, so that I know that I have something that I want to wear during the day that's easy to transition into the evening. I wouldn't say that I'm entirely perfect at this every single time, but when I go into packing, I think about what outfits I can piece together so that I don't bring just a bunch of things that I'm not even going to wear, because when I was younger, I used to do that. I used to be like, I like this shirt, I like these pants, and I would just put stuff in a bag and then leave, and then when I got to my destination, I'm like, none of this even, what did I do? So now I like to pair things together so that I know how many days I'm going and what I want to wear, and it's just, when I'm there, I don't even have to think about it. I'm like, I already know I like these two things together. Here I go.
Yeah, well, that's goals right there. For my situation is very different, because I don't live anywhere right now, and literally everything I own is in my luggage. So, but actually, it all fits in a carry-on, which is huge. And so many people that I see, especially when you first start traveling, you think you need like this huge check-in bag for like a weekend trip, and I promise you that's not the case. And the way to learn that is to backpack. Carrie just mentioned that, but I backpacked around Europe and I brought a huge bag with basically everything. And then I was like, I didn't wear 80% of this, and I just carried it and like broke my back doing so. So if you actually carry your stuff, you'll be like, I need to pack way less next time.
Yeah, and it's funny how you're like, goals about me packing like that. I'm like, goals that all of your things fit inside your carry-on. Like, I want that so bad. Like, purge everything and just put it in one little tiny bag. This is going to be the last question, and it was...
What is on your travel bucket list for 2018?
Travel bucket list for 2018. I definitely want to do Italy, like I mentioned earlier, again.
You should go with Alex.
I know.
It's such a romantic place.
I know. I do really want to go to Cuba.
Oh, I want to go back to Cuba. I went, but I don't think I fully, like, soaked it in enough, so let's go.
Yes, let's go together.
Yeah.
It would be amazing in Cuba together. Oh my gosh.
Okay, yeah.
So
Cuba is very high for me. And the other one I'm going to say is India, which we might be going together. We have to wait. There's still a lot to figure out, but that would be also... I've never been to India, so...
I've never been to India, and I would I've always dreamed of going. There's so much to see there, and it just seems like the most interesting place. So, that would be...
Okay, well, we're just going to travel everywhere together.
Yeah, Cuba and India is happening.
Yeah.
Okay, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. Thank you so much for being on my channel.
Yeah, I'm so happy.
I love Raya so much.
This is the first of many collabs.
I'm so excited for you guys to meet Raya in general, because we've always talked about just like, I'm like, I feel like my viewers would love you.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. Even from like... when I first watched your channel, I was like, we are just the same vibe. Like, if my viewers like me, they would 100% like you.
Yeah, and that's why we get along so well when we travel together, because we're just like, cool, awesome, everything's great. So yeah, cool guys, well thank you guys so much for watching. Give this video a thumbs up if you liked it. Also make sure that you are subscribed, and make sure you guys go over and check out Raya's channel. You will love her stuff, and I will see you guys very soon in a new video.
Bye.
Bye.